In a move that shocked the boxing world and sent social media into a frenzy, Gervonta "Tank" Davis, one of the most electrifying and undefeated fighters of the modern era, has announced his retirement from professional boxing. With a record of 30-0 and 28 knockouts, Davis is stepping away from the sport while still in his prime, at just 29 years old. But perhaps even more surprising than the announcement itself were Davis' first words in the aftermath, a mixture of reflection, vulnerability, and raw honesty. The undefeated superstar opened up to fans and critics alike about why he's walking away from the ring, at least for now. This article takes a deep dive into his retirement, the implications for boxing, the personal battles behind the gloves, and the fighter's message to those who followed him from the streets of Baltimore to the bright lights of Las Vegas. A sudden announcement that shook the sport. A quiet weekday morning, Davis sent out a brief but emotionally charged message on social media. "I'm done. Thanks for the memories." The cryptic tweet, followed by a deactivated account and a stream of speculation, set off a storm in the boxing world at first. Many fans suspected the tweet might have been a hack, a moment of impulsivity, or perhaps a publicity stunt to generate hype for a future bout. But as hours passed with no clarification from his team, and as media outlets scrambled to confirm the news, it became clear Gervonta Davis had made a decision, and this time it seemed real. Within 24 hours, Davis reappeared on Instagram Live and confirmed what everyone had feared. "Greater than I gave this sport my whole life, my whole soul, from a kid in West Baltimore just trying to stay alive, to selling out arenas around the world. But I think it's time for me to take a step back. I need to breathe again." These were Gervonta Davis' first public words following his bombshell announcement, words that weren't just a resignation from the sport, but a confession of personal exhaustion, mental fatigue, and the cost of living life as one of boxing's most explosive stars. A career of violence, victory, and vortex sesto. Understand the magnitude of Davis' retirement. One must consider what he brought to the sport of boxing. From the very beginning, Tank was not just another fighter climbing the ranks. He was a phenom, trained under the guidance of Calvin Ford in Baltimore, and later promoted by Floyd Mayweather Jr. Davis was built for greatness from the start. He was fast, ferocious, and fearless, with hands that could change the course of a fight in an instant. Whether knocking out Jose Pedraza for his first world title at age 22, or dismantling Leo Santa Cruz with one of the most vicious uppercuts in modern boxing history, Davis was box office. His 2023 victory over Ryan Garcia by body shot knockout was not only a career-defining moment, but a generational spectacle. Over 1 million pay-per-view buys, millions more on social media. Tank wasn't just a nickname, it was a brand. And yet, for every triumph in the ring, there was turbulence outside of it. The battle outside the ring while Davis built a pristine record between the ropes. His life outside the ring was often filled with chaos, controversy, and court appearances. Legal troubles followed him like a shadow, from multiple allegations of domestic abuse to a 2020 hit-and-run case that saw him serve jail time in 2023 for violating home detention terms. Davis' path was never free of obstacles. The pressure mounted, and unlike the controlled violence of the boxing ring, the personal chaos surrounding him seemed to have no referee. For years, many close to Davis, including former promoter Floyd Mayweather, had expressed concerns about his mental and emotional well-being. Even fans noticed an occasional shift in his public demeanor, moments of brilliance, alternating with stretches of isolation and erratic behavior on social media. In the Instagram Live session following his retirement post, Davis hinted at the toll this lifestyle had taken on him. Greater than it's not easy living with all these expectations. People think money and fame fix everything. Nah, sometimes it makes the wounds deeper. There were nights I didn't sleep, days I didn't even want to train, but I still fought for my daughter, for my city, for myself. A fighter's vulnerability, mental health in combat sports. Davis' honesty about his mental health struck a chord with many fans and fellow fighters. In recent years, athletes from Naomi Osaka to Tyson Fury have been more open about the psychological pressures of elite competition. But boxing, often seen as the most macho of sports, has traditionally stigmatized vulnerability. For Davis to speak openly about the emotional burden he carried is not just significant for him. It's monumental for the sport. Greater than I don't want to be one of those fighters who stayed too long and lost themselves. I've seen it too many times. I don't want to be another name in a sad story. I want to live, really live. These words echo not just exhaustion, but a desire for freedom. for reinvention, perhaps even for redemption. Reaction across the boxing landscape in the hours after Davis' announcement. Social media exploded with reactions from across the boxing universe. Devin Haney, a top pound-for-pound star and potential rival, tweeted, "If this is real, much respect. Still wanted that fight, but salute to a great career." Ryan Garcia, who lost to Davis in a highly anticipated matchup in 2023, responded on Instagram, "We had our moment. Tank is a beast. I respect his decision and wish him peace. But if you ever come back, you know where to find me." Even Floyd Mayweather, who had a famously complicated relationship with Davis in recent years, told TMZ Sports, "Gervonta is one of the most talented fighters I've ever seen. If he's stepping away, I support him. He's earned the right to choose his path. So, is it really over?" Of course, retirement in boxing is rarely final. The sport is filled with final fights that weren't. Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, George Foreman, Tyson Fury, and Floyd Mayweather himself all walked away, only to return later for another payday, another challenge, another thrill. So is Davis truly done, or is this just a break? In his own words, greater than never say never. "I don't hate boxing. I still love it. I just don't love everything that comes with it right now. I'm not saying I'll never fight again, but right now, I need peace." Those words, "right now," will leave the door ajar for fans and promoters alike. What's next for Tank? If this is the end of Davis' career, he leaves the sport undefeated and as one of its most bankable stars. But beyond boxing, Davis has shown signs of wanting to explore a different life. In recent months, he's been more active in his community in Baltimore, mentoring young boxers and talking about opening a gym for at-risk youth. He's also been more vocal about being a father. "I want to be there for my daughter in a way I never had growing up. I don't want to miss her childhood chasing money and belts." Sources close to Davis have said he's been fielding offers from media companies, podcast platforms, and even television producers interested in telling his story, perhaps as a docuseries or scripted series. There's also speculation that Davis might consider training others, becoming the mentor he once had in Calvin Ford. What his absence means for boxing if Davis stays retired. His departure reshapes the lightweight and super lightweight divisions. At 135 and 140 pounds, Davis was a destabilizing force, a puncher with elite timing and the kind of presence that drew casual fans to the sport. With him gone, fighters like Devin Haney, Shocker Stevenson, Vasily Lomachenko, and Ryan Garcia have an opportunity to battle for supremacy in a suddenly wide-open field. Promoters will now scramble to find the next breakout star, someone who can sell tickets, drive pay-per-view buys, and capture attention across demographics. Davis' absence won't just be felt in title rankings, it will be felt in the revenue sheets. Legacy, a complicated but legendary career. So, how will Davis be remembered? He may never have unified divisions like Terrence Crawford. He may not have fought every contender in his weight class, but in terms of raw impact on fans, on culture, and on the economics of the sport, Davis was undeniable. He was Mike Tyson for the Instagram generation. Short, compact, violent, and impossible to ignore. He was a walking contradiction. Quiet but cocky, reckless but disciplined, troubled but inspiring. And in many ways, that contradiction is what made him so magnetic. "Greater than I'm not perfect," Davis said in his IG Live. "I've made mistakes, but I never cheated this sport. I gave you my blood, my sweat, my tears. If this is goodbye, just know I loved every moment, even the pain." Final thoughts. The fighter who fought for more than titles in the end, Gervonta Davis' story is not just about boxing. It's about survival, about transformation, about a young man who rose from poverty and trauma to become a world champion, then found himself at a crossroads where gloves and belts were no longer enough. Whether or not he returns to the ring, Davis has already made his mark. And perhaps his greatest fight, the one for personal peace, emotional healing, and lasting purpose, is only just beginning. His final message to fans: "Thank you for riding with me. The real ones know what this meant. I fought for y'all, and now I'm gonna fight for me." And with that, the lights dim on one of boxing's most electric chapters, at least for now. Written by Royal Delight. For more updates on Gervonta Davis and the boxing world, stay tuned.